Everyone, and welcome to Padlocked. Today we are lucky enough to have Stephen Wonderboy Tompson join us. How's that post-fight life?
It's good.
You can eat whatever you want, all that jazz.
Oh yes. Just chilling out here in Buffalo, actually getting ready for UFC 210. I here support my buddy Chris Weidman. He's fighting Gregor Mousasi. So, been a sparring partner, good friend of him for many years. So here to support as well.
I guess my question is, who's next? I mean, after the fight with Woodley, I'm sure like everyone must be asking you this and you might not even know yet, but after your fight with Woodley and everything, I just wonder who's next on the list maybe after. Are you going for the trilogy maybe and try and get the belt, or?
I mean, I would love to, but I know I understand. I got to work my way back up. So I'm the number one contender right now, and I was wanting to fight the number two, which is Robbie Lawler. But I hear he's getting ready to fight Donald Cerrone. I don't think that's like solidified yet. I don't think it's 100% go.
Yeah.
So keep my fingers crossed there. So if it's not him, I don't know. Carlos Condit, I think, would be an awesome fight too. Not really sure what he's doing, if he's retired. So it's kind of up in the air right now, to be honest with you. I know Maya's fighting Masvidal.
Yeah, I know Masvidal's fighting. Yeah,
there was some talk about me. Gunnar Nelson called me out, but I think he's ranked number 9. The last two top 10 guys that he's fought, he's gotten beaten by. So he wasn't really on my radar. It was those top 5 guys right now. So we'll see, man. Keep my fingers crossed still for Robbie Lawler. So hopefully that will happen.
And have you ever thought about fighting maybe GSP?
You know what? He actually messaged me not too long ago, right before my last fight. He wasn't interested in fighting me at all. I mean, he was my inspiration to actually switch from kickboxing to mixed martial arts. Spent a lot of time up in Montreal training with him and Faraz Zahabi. He's just a good friend, man. And it was very hard to actually step in the octagon against Rory McDonald because he was a good buddy of mine too. But I'm even closer with George. So I don't think that's going to happen, man. I mean, if there was anything going on, it would have to be George's decision, not mine.
Yeah.
Friends don't fight friends there, Joseph. That's the answer to that.
Hey, man.
What do you do to overcome those days when you're just not feeling it? Like, since I'm sure it happens, we're all human. How do you keep up the motivation to push yourself to keep going? And do you ever allow yourself just a day to rest and not do any form of martial arts training, anything, and just chill?
Yeah, you have to. You have to give your body time to rest, and you got to know your body, especially going into camp. If you're feeling overtrained, if your body just feeling down, and a lot of times, we're fighters, so we'll try and push through that. But it's really important for the coaches, and this is one of the reasons, for those of you looking for a good school or a good gym to train out, to get some coaches and teammates that really care for you and your well-being. I mean, my coaches are really aware of my body as well and my attitude. And so they pretty much know exactly when I'm overtrained or if I'm training too much or not enough. So, I'll be in the gym no matter what. My coaches are there to say, listen, Stephen, go home, take a break. You need to heal up. You're training really good this week. Things like that, But when I don't want to do it, guess what? I kind of do it anyway. I mean, that's how you separate. And that's something that I learned from training with guys like George St. Pierre, Rashad Evans, Chris Weidman, those champions. That's the mindset you have to have, is even when you're tired, even so, cause you never step in the octagon 100%. There's always some nagging injury that you have. You go in there and you do it anyway, but you got to do it smart. If you have an injury, you don't want to make it even worse. So there's other things that you can do. Maybe just drill, maybe not do any live sparring or live jiu-jitsu, but you do it anyway. And that's how you make it to the top. I'm blessed to be where I'm at and, the people that I've trained with. And that's one of the big things that I've learned from training with these champions is how, to go through your camp, even when you're feeling down, when you're feeling injured, you're just not feeling it. You just do it anyway.
Discipline.
And it's great because after it's all said and done, after that training session, you feel great. I'm glad I went out there and did it,
That high afterwards.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. So you just do it anyway. So, and you keep a good support system around you to help push you through things like that. And good teammates. Because if you go to a lot of gyms and MMA is kind of a selfish sport, But I've been in the game for a long time. Been fighting since I was 15. I understand I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for my teammates. So you got that team there to help you push through those days.
So, I personally thought you should have won your last fight.
Well, thank
But
you.
is there anything you wish you could have done different to make the judges see that you won?
Well, it doesn't matter if it's a 5-5 round war or if I knock the guy out in the first round. I always go back and what if I could have done this, I could have done that, and I can do that all day with his last 2 fights with Tyron Woodley. But when it comes down to it, whenever you're out there, you do feel you have this whole game plan going into this fight and what you want to do and accomplish during the fight. But once you step out there, especially somebody like Tyron, he's very powerful. He's got a mean right hand. You do what feels best at the moment. It's kind of a feel thing. But, I've been eating myself up. I could have done this. I could have done that. Maybe been a little bit more aggressive, in that first round, throwing a lot more kicks, later on in the rounds just to try and tire him out. So there's a lot of things that I thought I could have done better. But, when it comes down to it, whatever happened, and I just got to move forward from there, and make my way back up to the top to fight him again if he's up there.
I just started training Muay Thai. I'm 16 years old. So I want to ask you when you started training and fighting, and do you think it's possible for me to become a pro in sometime in my 20s or something?
Oh, definitely, man. Are you kidding me? There's guys in the UFC that have been training for only 3 years. Guys
Really?
who have come from another sport, professional athletes from, football, moved up, or even wrestling and moved up to mixed martial arts. You definitely can do it, man. I started my martial arts training, actually my whole family. I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. We all started at the age of 3 and started competing at that young age, just doing point fighting. I don't know if you ever heard of point fighting. It's kind of like it's a game of tag, fastest fighters in the world, but did that growing up. And then at the age of 12, I started my full contact training. My sister Lindsay, who's older than me, was competing, and I started my full contact training by being one of her sparring partners. So she beat me up for many years by a girl. Yes, I know. But I had my first fight when I was 15 years old, and been at it ever since, man. So you definitely, starting at 16, it's not too late. You'll definitely get out there. I give you, a few years. Make sure, like I said, make sure that, your coaches are confident in your skills, that you're confident in your skills, and wait on them to say, hey, man, are you ready? Because your coaches should have, your best interests. And sometimes as a fighter or somebody training, we think we're ready when sometimes we're not. So just be very mindful, man, and listen to your coaches, brother.
Hey, thanks, man. Also,
No problem.
are you related to Sage Northcutt in any way?
Am I what, related?
To Sage Northcutt. Super Sage
No, I'm
Northcutt.
not related to Sage. No.
I'm sure he might be your son. I don't know.
My
is that
son?
like a physical resemblance,
Do I
or
look that
is that
old?
why you're asking?
Do I look that old?
He meant your younger brother. That's what he meant, right,
there
Bellamy?
you go.
Of course.
There you go. He could be my younger brother. He
Younger
could be.
brother.
Oh.
I don't know that I see it, but we'll go with it. Maybe they're like brothers from another mother. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Could be.
Thank you so much, Bell.
So my question is, what is your favorite thing in your spare time? Like, do you enjoy playing games, TV shows, films,
I'm a movie buff, man. If there's a movie coming out, I go and see it. Especially during camp, because I like to lose myself in a fantasy world, just to kind of, you're not thinking about the stress of a fight. You're not thinking about training. You're not thinking about, what I'm going to eat next. It's just, you lose yourself in that fantasy world. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm a huge movie buff. I've got work on my car. I got a car. Me and my brother are into cars. He's got a GTR. I have a Toyota Supra that we like to play around with. And so, man, there's other things that I like to do other than martial arts. But one of the biggest distractions that I have getting out of camp is teaching kids classes. We have a family-run business back home. It's been open for 34 years, Upstate Karate. And it's a family-run business. And teaching kids classes, man, there's not another job like it. I love it, man. So being out there, teaching them, seeing the smiles on their faces, making them work hard. And at the same time, teaching has helped me become a better martial artist too, because then you got to understand the technique a little bit better in order to teach it. So you're not just doing it. You actually got to go out there and teach it to these kids. So I love teaching, man. Well,
my
it's an honor.
My question for you was, do you have any pre-fight rituals that you go through? I'm a big hockey fan. I know hockey players have all these things, and I'm just wondering about you.
I don't know I guess you can call them pre-fight rituals. I don't know. But, there's some things that I don't do, which a lot of people do, like washing my gear or my hand wraps during the whole camp. I don't wash that. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but there's a lot of guys that I train with and all over the world who do the same little things like that, anything. It could be my gloves. It could be my hand wraps, my shin pads. It just, I don't know. I don't know. It's like when I wash them, I feel like I've erased, the hard sweat, the hard workouts that I put into them. It's weird. It's very weird. I know.
Well, I'm used to that because both of my boys, Billy and Tim, both were wrestlers in football, and they weren't washing things either unless I was just like, I don't know, maybe they wanted it that way, especially with wrestling where you're real tight there. It's like, you don't want to smell good.
No, you don't. You want to make it as uncomfortable as your opponent as possible. Oh, yes. I love
Judy,
it.
Note to self, and maybe you can back me on this, but I don't want to be your gym bag.
I appreciate that.
I know it's. But my question for you is, how are your pre-fight routines? What do you eat on the day of the fight? What do you do before a fight?
Well, that's actually a good question because during the whole week you're trying to cut all the weight, right? So you're cutting down the weight. So I've got these ladies who are phenomenal. They're called Perfecting Athletes. They prepare all my meals throughout the week, making sure I'm drinking the right amount of water throughout the week so that way the weight comes off very, very easy, and usually that's more like more protein, a lot of vegetables to clean out the system. Tons of water, man, just tons. We're just saturating your body with water because that's what you're mostly using. So you want to saturate your body with water. So by the time the weight cut, it's time for you to cut the weight. Your body's ready to get rid of all the water that you drink, and it just comes right off. After we weigh in, it's a very slow process because with our new doping policy, we're not allowed to have IVs anymore, which to get those fluids in your system quicker. So you got to do everything orally. So that's a very slow process because if you do it too fast, and some people are different. Some people can chug the water, or the coconut water, or whatever you're drinking, the Pedialyte. But I get really bloated. My stomach feels really bloated. It gives me a stomach ache. So I got to do everything really slowly. But we're carbing up. So spaghetti, meatballs, just trying to carb up to get that carb load so your body swells up to get back up to its original size. So tons of carbs, a lot of pasta, tons of pasta. Yeah. Pasta. You can't get any better than that.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, chicken. After the fight, I'm looking to, what I want to eat after the fight, and that's pizza, man. I love me some pizza. Yeah.
You here, Stephen, and we're going to play a little game called Connor or Kanye.
Oh, Connor or Kanye. Okay, how does this work?
So basically, I'm going to read you a statement, and you're going to tell me, was it Connor or was it Kanye that said it?
Oh, okay.
See how good you are. All right, first one. I am the king of everything.
Connor.
Correct. Me, yeah. Don't get too excited yet. We got 4 more. Me and Jesus are cool. I'm cool with all the gods. Gods recognize gods.
Kanye.
Connor.
That was Connor?
That was Connor.
No way.
Yeah.
Beat Jesus up. People were coming out.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Okay.
I need this horse. Kings need horses.
Kings need horses. Kanye.
It's a 50-50 shot. You did it. Okay. Nobody can tell me where I can and can't go.
I figured it was Kanye. Kanye?
And you would figure correctly. You do. Yes. Hello, I'd like to order some competitions, please. I don't have any.
Connor.
Correct. When you're the absolute best, you get hated on the most.
It sounds like something they would both say, though. Kanye.
You're right.
Yes.
So that was pretty good.
So I missed one, right?
You missed one. You did pretty good. I gave you crap for it, but you did really good.
Yes.
I have noticed on your pictures you were necklaced.
Yes.
Like, I want to know, like, what does it mean to you, and like, who gave it to you?
This was actually given to me by my younger brother. Right here, he's actually in the room. Sweet Tea.
Hi, younger brother.
Yeah, I know, and he's actually bigger. He's bigger than me too. So I'm the smallest of the brothers. But this is this right here just represents what I believe in. You know, I'm a Christian, and I've had this necklace, man, for I can't tell you how long. So all the boys in the family, we have this. It's just a way of going. And yeah, so we have it, and you know, just to kind of let everybody know what my faith is, and so yeah, I believe in, you know, Jesus died for our sins, and He's our Lord and Savior, and that's what that means to me.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's the answer I was like looking for.
My question is, if you could face any opponent in the UFC, current or retired, who would you pick and why?
Oh man, let's see here. That's a hard one because there's so many good guys and legends that I would love to face off against. But in the UFC, this guy in particular came up the same way I did with kickboxing. He fought some of the same kickboxing organizations. Also, he's a Kempo karate stylist as well. And it's Chuck Liddell. I think that would be super cool. Even though he was a higher weight than me, but he is a striker, you know, one of the best of all time in the UFC, one of the most popular guys, you know, in the UFC. And, you know, it's just the fact that we both came up kind of the same way, you know, starting in a karate background. You know, we started competing in kickboxing, and we both made it to the UFC. He was definitely one of my favorite fighters growing up, and I think that would be really awesome.
All right.